Hey guys, so today I'm doing a little bit of a different video. I'm outside in my yard today. I thought I'd switch it up just for a little bit of an aesthetic, woodsy nature background. And I thought I would talk about my experience going to college in the last 5 years in the early 2020s. The reason I'm making this video is because this is my first full year of my life that I am not going back to school. And I don't know, I've just been doing a little bit of reflecting lately on, my years and, my whole college experience. Because it's been kind of a whirlwind over the last 6 years. Just navigating college and early adulthood and having my college experience being affected by the pandemic. So I thought it would be, I don't know, I just wanted to sort of hop on here and talk about my experience and maybe give a little bit of advice and talk about the things I learned along the way. And yeah, just fair warning. Oh my. There are turkeys in the driveway. I hope they just go into the woods and do not bother me. So there are lots of animals around. So there's going to be animal noises and car noises going up and down the street. So I guess I can start from the beginning. So I started at Unity College in fall of 2019, which is in Maine. It's now called Unity Environmental University. They've since switched up their name since I was there. I was there for I was taking classes out of that college for about a year and a half. 3 semesters. The first semester and a half I was on campus. And then for the second half of my spring semester and the following fall semester, I was at home because the COVID pandemic had started and we had to be remote and take online classes, which was not wonderful. I definitely do a lot better learning, like with a person, like being in the learning environment and not like kind of, at home with a bunch of distractions and, just general, like it's just easy, like it's just easier to like get distracted and like ignore the work that you have to do when you're doing it from home. But yeah, while I was actually there, I had just the best time. It was like I made so many friends. I made it my goal. That was my goal going in, was I said to myself, I was like, I am not going to let my social anxiety get the best of me. I do not want to be that person that just sits in his room all the time with no friends and just goes to class and then sits by himself. Just, that didn't seem like a fun way to live at college. So I definitely made it a priority to, go out and make friends and socialize. And it definitely worked. It worked out. It definitely worked out. Because I have a lot of friends from that school that I still talk to, and some that I still see on the regular. And yeah, socially it was a great experience. Class-wise, well, first of all, I was majoring in, both of this, I went to 2 schools, by the way. So both schools, I was a STEM major. I majored in At Unity, it was called Captive Wildlife Care and Education, I think it was called. Because when I was a kid, I really wanted to work at the zoo. Um, Ever since because I went to the San Diego Zoo when I was 11, and I just fell in love with it, and I thought would be so cool to work with the animals. Um, so that's what I majored in college. And yeah, the classes I took there were pretty good. I was a part of a program my first semester. It was a little bit experimental at the time, with experiential learning. It was called Terrain. It was like I don't know. We kind of went to, like, I mean, like, it was fun, but it was also it was also kind of a mess, on to be honest. Because we were at, like, every week we would go out to a different location, like, I don't know, like animal facility or like nature reserve, and we would do different kinds of things there, um, like collecting data and like, I don't know, just learning what people that work there do, um, and it was really fun. Everybody who was in the program, we all lived in the same dorm, so we like saw each other all the time. We were living with each other. We were, um, going to class together, um, and yeah, that part was fun because we definitely bonded in that respect. But it was just that, like, the downside of it was just that, it was also generalized because it wasn't like for any specific major, because not because it was like a bunch of different people from a bunch of different majors all doing the same thing. So the work that you were doing, not all of it really pertained to your, like, what people had, like, what the goals that people had, like, career wise. So if you were like a bit more focused on like doing like the captive animal stuff like I was, there was definitely a lot more, um, stuff that didn't like really relate to that. So it was just kind of like, okay, I'm just kind of doing this stuff that like I don't really care for, but it still was I'd say it was still a pretty good experience. Um, just kind of getting to explore, and obviously we got to go on like field trips when all the other kids who were at the school like didn't really get to do that as much. And just yeah, it was like I look back on it fondly, but like at the same time, it was just kind of like, okay, like this could have been done better. Um, like there was one time we were going on a trip to a location, and they ended up like changing making the departure time like earlier, but they did it like the morning of. So we were like sitting in class, like, because we had like our morning classes, then we were going to go like in the afternoon, and then someone in my class just happened to be like checking their email while we were like while we were in class, and then they just like perked up and were like kind of raised their hand to the professor, and they were like, yeah guys, we kind of have to leave now. They just changed like the departure time to like half an hour from now. But yeah, that was really fun. That was a fun experience. um oh, and the reason they did it was because there was a snowstorm coming. It was in like November, and obviously Maine is winter, and winter weather kind of gets started a bit earlier in the season than the rest of New England and the more southern US. But yeah, I think Unity, like it was so fun. Like I visited there a couple years later after I left, and the campus was just so beautiful. Like it was on this like nice hill, and like a bunch of people, like my family kept saying like it looks like the campus really does. It did look a lot like more of like a summer camp than a school, like a school, like because there was just so much outdoor space. Like they had a big field, uh, with like a stage for people to like perform on, and they had like events and stuff, and then they had like adventure therapy stuff, like going out in like canoes and like stuff like that. And they had woods trails in the back. Um, so yeah, it was really pretty. And then I went up and visited, and it was like I was there by myself, and I felt, even with nobody there, I felt like super safe. Just like, I guess with all the memories, and like, and the school was in like a really small like rural town. Um, but yeah, I it was really fun. I have a lot of fun memories with like my friends and just all the experiences I had. It was really good. So then I guess getting into like the COVID part of it, yeah, that was just so devastating because like with COVID, like not being able to be there with my friends and like being stuck at home, and then um, about halfway through the summer, the school announced that they were like gonna like sell their campus, which was ridiculous, and they were gonna go online, um, like permanently, like do online classes only, which really went against their like entire like mantra and like mission statement, which is like experiential learning, like getting outdoor activity, connecting with nature, like. And they had like all kinds of classes, like in chemistry classes. Like, how are you supposed to do like a chemistry lab online? Like, it was just ridiculous. So yeah, it really felt that year that like everything was getting like all the joy and like happiness that I had experienced, um, while I was there, like it all just kind of got ripped away from me. Um, so I felt I got very depressed and very just, upset at the world, um, which a lot of people during the pandemic did, for a bunch of different reasons. Um, but yeah, so I ended up doing, um, I started looking at other schools, um, after that. I did one more semester in the fall of 2020, as I said, um, and that was online, and um, that was honestly probably like the worst semester ever because I was kind of home, and then like it was just kind of like it really wasn't interactive at all. It was just like, okay, like at the beginning of the week it would be like, yeah, Monday morning it would just be like, okay, here's your work, this is what you have to do, it's due Sunday at 11:59, good luck, email if you have questions. So it kind of felt like there wasn't as much help as much. I mean, obviously we could like have like Zoom calls or whatever if we needed help with stuff, but like, I don't know, like it's just like when you're home doing like schoolwork, it's just easier to ignore because it's like not as in your face, like you don't have the teacher there with you. um so that semester wasn't great. So then while I was doing that, I found another school, um in Pennsylvania called Delaware Valley University, which is where I ended up graduating from. I found it through one of my friends that I met at Unity, who actually transferred there about like a semester before. I think it was the second semester. Well, while I was still at Unity, that they transferred there. So I ended up going there. I took a semester off in the spring of 2021 and just kind of worked, um, and apply. I don't remember exactly when I applied for the school. I know I took the tour of the school in April of that year. Yeah, I ended up going there. I started there fall of 2021, and Yeah. So yeah, and I had to change. Well, because they didn't really have a conservation. They didn't have a the same major that I had while I was at Unity. Exactly. It was called conservation. Yeah. So the major that I had there was called conservation and wildlife management. Um, which is it was like a little bit different, but not. It wasn't super different. Like the person that I talked to when I was like doing like the sort of like onboarding, getting everything set up, said that like that major was easier to transfer into. I wanted to because they had like a zoo science major, and I wanted to do that, but they said it was easier if I like the conservation major was easier to sort of like more malleable. Like I could do what I wanted with it rather than whereas like I don't know. It was weird because like there were because then I saw other people who transferred to the school and they said they were able to transfer into that major, and then I was. It was strange. But the good thing about going to the new school is I didn't have to start all over again, like socially. Um, One of my other friends who was at Unity with me ended up transferring there too. Um, and then there were a few other people who went to school there that um, there was one other person that I knew personally that went to Unity that transferred there, but there were a couple other people that like I knew their faces, but like I hadn't really talked to, like I'd seen them around, but I hadn't really talked to them. So they were at Del Valle, and I met them, and we became friends, which was awesome. So I wasn't like starting like completely over, like knowing nobody going into that school, which was good. Um, but and I mean, I kind of went in with a sort of naive sort of mindset of like the only reason I'm depressed is because I don't have school and I'm just kind of home. It's because like I need school to not be depressed anymore. And of course that wasn't really the case, unfortunately. Um, because I was expecting Unity, I was expecting it Del Valle to kind of be like Unity with like a tight knit. I don't know, because we were at Unity, we were so like tight knit, and like everybody was super close, and like even like people I didn't think I would vibe with, we ended up being like great friends, and I loved it there so much. And then going to Del Valle, it was kind of like it took me a little bit longer at that school to find like my people, um, other than the people that I already had. I don't know. Yeah, there's parts of it that I miss, and like because I definitely did meet good people down there, um, and I definitely learned a lot from being there. Yeah, because down there I think I really did a lot more of like the stuff that you do in college. Because I was only at Unity for such a short time, so yeah, I ended up doing like internships and like having a campus job. Well, actually, I did have a campus job at Unity too. I worked at the student center. I was an office assistant. It was kind of a fun job. It was an interesting job. The lady that I was working under was really nice. She was amazing. And then at Del Valle, I ended up working at the library, the school library, which was it was a fun job. I feel like that's where I met most of like that's where I made the most friends, I think. Outside of like the friends that I already had going in. Yeah, it was really fun. And then also, oh yeah, I also did join some clubs too while I was in college. So I was in, because I did clubs at both schools. At Unity, I was in the drama club. I worked as a tech person because I did it in high school, so I thought I would continue that at Unity, and that was fun. Except that because we were gonna have a play at the end of the year, and it ended up never happening because of COVID. And by the time we went home, we actually did this whole like huge, like we had worked like a whole day building like all the sets and like setting up the stage and everything, which like it just felt kind of like we were so disappointed when we weren't able to do the play because something just fell on my head. Sorry. uh, we were so disappointed when we weren't able to do the play because we worked super hard uh, building all that stuff, and then the actors, the people who were acting in the play, had worked super hard, learning their lines and getting everything right, and then it ended up like just not happening. And I was also part of the GSA at the school, which at both schools actually. So I went to some of their programs as well, and yeah, I think every year of school actually, because both schools they hosted a Rocky Horror thing during Halloween, and I went every year, and that was super fun. Just getting to dress up and just watch the movie and be with my friends, which is awesome. And then I was also part of the symphonic band at Del Val, which was great, because I was because at the same time I was also trying to like get violin lessons, which I'm still trying to get solid violin lessons into my life, even now post graduation, because I took a fine arts class my second semester at Del Val. Yeah, second semester, and the music director at the school was teaching the class, and I was asking hey, is there anybody that you know here who can, or in the area, who teaches violin at all? And he said he did recommend me one place, but then he was also like, if you want to have like other musical experience, you can also join the symphonic band. We definitely need percussionists. We have people who can help, and I had done percussion for 4 years in middle school, from 5th grade to 8th grade, so I had a little bit of experience. But it was really good to get back into even if it wasn't exactly the instrument that I wanted, it was good to get back onto the music scene and play music with people, and then I did make a few friends in there too. But college was a really interesting experience. Unfortunately, I'd say, for the later half of it, I was depressed for a good portion of it, unfortunately. And being finished with it now, there were definitely parts of it that I wish I appreciated more, and I should have gone out and, because after the person who wanted to be super social at Unity was not there anymore when I started Del Val, which was kind of disappointing. And then I guess I can also talk a little bit about the little realization I had about 2 years or a year and a half before I finished, which was I wasn't really sure if what I was doing in school was really what I wanted to do for a job anymore, which I think there's a good amount of people have that realization when they're in college, and want to change majors. But honestly, I was just so close to being finished that I felt if I changed majors to something completely different, I didn't really want to add extra, if I had to be there extra semesters to take my new required courses for what I had to what I would have to take to pass the major or whatever. Sorry, my brain is going. I do kind of now wish I majored in something different, but it's just that I don't really know what that would have been. But I'm definitely happy I went. The stuff I learned, I definitely, probably the best thing it did for me was get me out of my hometown and come across people that have had different a multitude of experiences and see life differently, and come from all different backgrounds, and just like really, I definitely learned like a whole lot. Um, Especially, oh yeah, I did want to talk about, yeah, because like I realized the how I got to my realization is that, like, because I was taking all like the STEM courses, like the science courses and the animal courses, and then on the side I was also like for electives I was taking like humanities courses, like the arts class I took, and then I also took a couple literature classes. I took women's lit and I took gay and lesbian lit with the professor I had was absolutely amazing. She's, oh my goodness, she really taught me so much. I learned a whole lot from her. Um, she's just the best. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I guess that's what I kind of wish I majored in. Like, if there was something more humanitarian that I could have majored in. Because those classes I learned so much about, like, that's really where I learned about, like, experiences outside of my own, and like how people who are different from me have like experienced the world. Really expanded my worldview, I'd say, which was really beautiful. But yeah, I'd say that was probably like the most important thing that happened to me. Thing I learned in, like, what I learned in college. And then of course the other thing that I learned, the big lesson that I learned was things don't always go as you hope and as you plan. There's the plan, and then there's what happens. Because obviously with COVID, anybody who was in college during the COVID pandemic knows that definitely shook up the world in so many different ways. And then I ended up graduating because like had I stayed like with my original school, I would have, and maybe if COVID hadn't happened, I probably would have stayed with like I would have graduated in 2023, and I ended up finishing school at Del Val in December of 2024. And I guess some other advice I guess I could say is like definitely try to manage your schedule as much as you can, like with time management, and like, set aside time for like schoolwork and downtime and other club activities. Like, for the most part in college, like, you pretty much control how busy you are, for the most part, because I did have like my second to last semester was absolutely crazy, because I was taking my senior seminar, and I was taking my capstone, and I had like 3 other classes that I was taking, and like a lot of them required like a lot of like I had something due like every single class session. So it was kind of a lot of work. So sometimes you can't control like how busy you are. Like, if you're someone who wants to be, productive and go all the time, then yeah, you can, there's definitely things you can, like, sign up for clubs and internships, and like, like if you're super ambitious, you can do all that. But if you're someone like me who like, values their downtime, it's like there are ways you can really, try to balance your schedule between, doing your work and having social time, and having your downtime, like alone time if you need it or want it. Because I'd say I was definitely able to, a little bit, because at Unity I tried to be social, but then I did have some moments when I was a bit more, I had my own thing that I wanted to do, like just kind of hang out in my room. And Del Val, I had a bit more alone time than social time. But obviously the most important thing the reason you're at school is to, learn new things and do your schoolwork and pass your classes and everything, so you can get into the job that you want, and obviously do your best. And also, if you're someone who has like a learning disability like me, like if you have autism or anything, I would definitely use your accommodations, because I got through a good chunk of college without really having to worry about it, but there were a few like slip ups where it was like if I had used those, I like because like they offer like extra time for like exams and stuff, and there was one day that I like really did not. I had kind of like I was kind of having a hard like slow day, and I really like it got to the end of the period, and then the professor was just kind of like, okay, time to turn it in. And I was like, oh crap, I was like, we ended up getting. I kind of told her about the accommodations, and I was like, oh crap, I don't think I'm using them right now. And she's like, yeah, well, if you don't have them, if you're not using them, then you gotta, yeah, you just kind of gotta finish up and give it to me, because you're not allowed it without the accommodation. So yeah, after that, I ended up starting using them, and it got better for me. I was able to use like the extra time, and um, yeah, even on like regular assignments, I was allowed that. Um, so, but yeah, I feel like yeah, the sun's like peeking through the trees, and now I'm a little bit overexposed. um, but yeah, so, but yeah, another thing that you gotta know about college is that like you're not always gonna get. I don't think you're not always gonna get like the job exactly that you want. Um, right after you finish. Um, because yeah, I haven't. First of all, I was kind of thinking that I like didn't really want to do something in my major um, after I graduated. But yeah, I'm definitely not doing that now. Um, I'm kind of sort of looking into it, but I don't know. I'm still figuring a lot of stuff out now that I'm done. Because I don't know. The main thing right now is just kind of getting like enough money to like pay off my student loans, and um, eventually move into my own place, um, out of my parents' house.
So there's actually another point that I wanted to make um, about the college video. Just thinking about like what the cost of it, and like having the experience being like worth the cost. Because I know these days college is crazy expensive. A lot of people are gonna be like paying back loans for like a long time. I know I am gonna be for at least the next like probably 10 or so years. Yeah, I guess another piece of advice is like just make sure that the experience that you have is like worth it, like because you're either you're paying a lot of either way, even if you're paying for it or if your parents are paying for it while you're there, you're going to be the one paying the loans back. Yeah, I would say yeah, definitely just make sure that your college experience is like worth like at least try to make it feel worthwhile, which I feel like I didn't quite do to the best of my ability. Like yes, I'm still happy I went and learned the things that I learned, but yeah, I just wish I did like I guess a little bit more to make it more enjoyable and more um, you know just yeah, that's just one other piece of advice that I wanted to add into the video. So anyways,
Yeah, so I hope this video helped. If anybody's like thinking about like just wanted, I don't know, just college advice, and if you're thinking about like going into college. Um, so yeah, I guess main takeaways, yeah. Uh, I'd say definitely try and have yeah. So I guess main takeaways from this, yeah, definitely try and have a support system, like have make friends, uh, balance your schedule, because both work and rest and play are all are equally important. And yeah, don't I get yeah, just be mindful that things don't always go according to plan. Uh, things are always changing all around, even if we don't like it. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I have some more videos that I'm going to be making soon. And like the video if you liked it. Um, Comment, subscribe, all those things. Uh, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.